Hello everyone, it is Friday, July 30th, 2021. Of course, Wednesday was New Comic Book Day, which means right now it's time for the new comic book video. Wasn't a real big week for books, but there were a couple of decent titles that came out. And then one of the independent titles that we had discussed on this channel a while back got released and sold very, very well, selling out pretty much across the board at all the shops here locally in town. So let's jump right into the books. First one up from DC, Superman, Son of Kal-El. There's that there. It's kind of a homage cover right there. Kind of cool. So I don't know how good the story's going to be, but I do love homage covers, of comic books. Next up, a book that sold real well because of a first appearance, United States of Captain America. We will see how this goes. This sold pretty good, but it seemed like it was ordered real heavily as well. So whenever you order heavy on a book, chances are that book isn't going to hold much of a long-term value, down the road. Last week I mentioned all the Moon Knight titles that came out and all the different covers from Moon Knight. I don't remember if I showed this one or not. This was one that I had in my box. This is a Moon Knight #1. I like it with the American flag right there. I am a Moon Knight fan to begin with. As you can see, my Moon Knight statue right there. So there was that. And that was it for the mainstream. That was it from Marvel DC. The next is all independent books, which kind of seems like to be a theme. Not only on this channel, but pretty much across the board, where a lot of people are spending more of their money on the independents, where they think that the value is going to be better because the print runs are notoriously much more limited than, a mainstream Marvel DC storyline. So first up from IDW, Star Wars Adventures #7. This is another first appearance book right here. A book that has a little bit of heat to it right now, but they say this is an air cover. It's not really an air cover if you don't fix it. I don't think they're going to fix this book. So right now it's selling anywhere in the $10 to $20 range. I think that's going to fall back to earth and sit in that, $5 to $6 range ultimately when all is said and done. This is the Department of Truth #1, 6 print right there. And again, it's got some heat on it right now, but I think that's about to be squashed. Local artist Dan Mendoza, his character, Zombie Tramp. This is #81. These sell really well, have a good value. Mostly the topless versions of that book are the ones that sell really well. But again, you sell a lot of them at shows. I see a lot of people asking for them. So it usually has a pretty good resale value if that's what you are into. Next one up, 81, is the Comic Con. It says, "We miss you, Comic Con." 2021. There's that there. Of course, we've talked about the fact that I am a huge tarot, Witch of the Black Rose fan. This is another storyline. This is Raven Hex, the Sword Maiden. This is #2. Real cool cover right there. Book that sold real good from Image this week. This is Sweet Paprika #1. Polybag edition. So I don't know exactly what is underneath that polybag. I showed a lot of these books last week. This is The Walking Dead Deluxe #19, but I cannot remember if I showed this particular cover. This, of course, first appearance of Michonne, Walking Dead Deluxe #19, and there was a ton of these covers. I just picked them up because I thought some of the covers were cool. There is going to be very minimal value on that because that book was ordered extremely heavily simply because it was a first appearance of Michonne, and everybody knows that. So it's a cheap way to get a first appearance. Next up from Image, Vinyl #2. Walking Dead #18. Cool cover there. I had an opportunity to read this story. I liked it. I liked kind of where it's going, kind of like a, origin type story. So there was that. I was pretty excited about this one here. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did. But again, because of all the excitement over something's killing the children, a lot of the issues moving forward aren't going to hold a lot of long-term value because there's just so many copies that are being ordered by retailers. It's the earlier stuff, the early 1 through 9, 1 through 10, which is going to kind of keep its basic, decent value right there. And a lot of the, second print, third print, fourth prints of the earlier issues hold incredible value. And finally, a book that we discussed on this channel a while back. This was the last book you'll ever read from Vault Comics. I believe it's Vault Comics. Yeah, I'm going to say Vault Comics. This is cover A. And this sold out all over town. Cover B. Haven't had a chance to read it, but that is the next book I am going to read. And then they had 2 polybag versions, a C and a D. This is them right here. And the only way you can tell is by the last name, you know, cover by those artists right there, which is number 1, or which is, I think, C, and then a different cover artist here for cover D, or cover C, cover D. So there was that. So those are the books that I picked up this week. Very excited about that. When I was out and about yesterday looking at some different things, I was talking to different comic book store owners. I talked to my friend Brian over at Cosmic, and you know, the different shops, whether it be, you know, Dirty Dog Comics or Fandomverse Comics, just wherever I go. And I always ask them, you know, how's the crowd, this and that, because right now, you know, I work on Wednesday, so I'm not able to be there for, you know, the releases. And they say, you know, it was busy, it was this or that, but kind of the common theme from everybody was that the crowds aren't as big as they have been in the past, because it kind of gets the feeling that a lot of the people that were speculating on books, that were buying a lot of the spec books with a lot of the first appearances, like we talked about, you know, the Captain America, or some of the independents, like it would be this week, you know, whether it was, you know, House by the Lake, or, you know, the last book you'll ever read, where speculators are just walking around buying tons and tons of copies of this stuff, spending a lot of money, because, you know, you got to spend it to make it. But they'll spend a lot of money on these books, and then a lot of them really aren't taking off like they had hoped. That's why I always, you know, tell people, you know, number 1, buy what you enjoy to buy. Don't buy because you're trying to make a fast dollar, because that's never going to work. There are people out there who do that very successfully. But again, it's just one of those things. And I blame the different, you know, Apple apps, the, you know, comic book apps that come out and say, oh, in November, you know, this book is going to be super hot because it has the first appearance of a character. So what happens is speculators contact these comic shops, or comic shops will take that information on the apps, and they will up their order run. So you have a saturation of the market on certain books. You know, back in the day, if you didn't read the previews, or even earlier than that, before the previews even came out, if you didn't really have your finger on the pulse, you found out what books came out when you showed up at the comic shop on new release day, and you were able just to grab the books. Now I'm talking about, you know, late 70s, early 80s, where in San Diego, where I'm originally from, you know, comic shops were starting to pop up. That's what you knew was coming in. You would just go to the comic book shop and you would look, or sometimes they had like a little board, or back then basically a piece of paper that they would write things down and stick it by the register and say, you know, upcoming books to look out for. And I think that's kind of hurt the market a little bit, because again, like I stated, you know, everything comes in circles. People who just buy books to try to make the quick dollar, they ultimately die by the wayside, because they will find something else to try to spend all their money on to make, you know, their fast dollar. And all that's left is the collector. That's why you're seeing tons of these multi-prints, you know, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, you know, Department of Truth 6 print #1. You don't need that many out there. So, I mean, variants aren't worth a whole lot to me, but people spend big money for them. It's the same thing as grading. People started saturating the market with, you know, graded books, sending all these, you know, brand new books, you know, to make the fast dollar. And if people can make money on it, good for them. But I just kind of like it better to where it used to be, where you could hang out at the comic book store with your friends, or people, like-minded people who enjoy the industry, and just, you know, talk about different things. It's just become too much, because too many books come out now, where you're having sometimes 100 and 105 titles a week, maybe more coming out. Shops got to buy that, and some shops can't afford to buy everything. So it just kind of hurt the market. So there was that, kind of like my little, you know, spiel right there. And I get a lot of requests for, again, a little while back, I bought a small collection of like 780, 790 books that ultimately I ended up getting for 10 cents a piece. And I showed a lot of the books I picked up, but people are like, you know, show us more when you get them. So I thought, you know what? I did pick up some of the books. These are not in any particular order. These are just books that I haven't had a chance to rebag and board yet. So I thought I would show some of these. I just kind of pulled these out of storage the other day and said, you know what? I'll show these on the channel because people are asking. So don't mind the ugliness of the bags and boards that you see. First one we're going to show, Psycho #1, the beautiful Janet Leigh and the crazy Norman Bates. There's that there. I got that in there for 10 cents. These are all books I got 10 cents. Batman 442. And these are all in pretty decent condition. A lot of these, like this here, are really super high grade condition. Some of the things here are kind of mid grade. This is the Unexpected 155. Unexpected 152. Again, but for 10 cents, you can even see the kind of board he had on the back of this, just kind of a, you know, brown board. You can tell that's kind of old school. Just some middle of the road Batman stuff. But, you know, cheap Batman sells really good. Here's a Batman 476 high grade. 445. 483. Some of these had stickers on them, but I haven't had a chance to grade them yet. There was a real nice run of Elvira's House of Mystery. Here's issue number 6. There's another Unexpected 163. Had like a little code up there. Here is a Batman number 429, part of the Death in the Family run. Pretty high grade right there. Again, for 10 cents, minus the expense that I have to put in to get bags and boards for this. No big deal. Here's an Elvira number 2. Not great. Has some tanning on the side here. Real hard to find this in high grade because of the white cover. Does have a tendency to get dirty real easy. Here is a number 11. This is always a very popular cover right here for this book. It's number 10. Again, just a nice run of Elvira that was in there. Here's a number 2. Again, same thing, white cover. It's a popular book right now, Batman number 475, high grade. The Ventriloquist. 15-cent Unexpected number 115. Mid-upper, probably, you know, 665 just from a quick look over of it, but still, nice book. These sell really, really well. The House of Mystery stuff, you know, horror genre from the 70s, which a lot of people feel, you know, besides the pre-code stuff from EC, that the 70s was actually the golden age of the horror genre simply because of the fantastic artists that were in there and the stories were really good. So there was that. Here is a pseudo bondage cover, Elvira, House of Mystery number 5. Another number 6. Here is number 7, little robot Elvira. Photo cover number 9. Again, all in really, really nice condition. And again, though, like I said, for 10 cents a book in a big collection, you'll buy that all the time. Not everything has to be a key to be a successful collection. A book that's gotten a lot of attention the last few months. This is Doorway to Nightmare number 2. There were 2 number 1s. I think I showed these on the channel already, the number 1s. But I had another, I think I had like a 2. Here's a 2 high grade. Here's a 3 high grade. Kind of a real cool kind of Vampirella style with the bat. And there's that famous picture of Vampirella holding the bat. Kind of the same thing here. Here's a number 4. And here is a number 5 high grade. And there's still, you know, a bunch of other books I haven't really had a chance to really just go through properly and get good grades on. But still, really nice books. And, you know, again, like we stated, I can't say this enough. You know, I get a lot of people sit there and I've gotten a lot of response on things. I'll buy any type of collection that's available as long as the books are in basically really good condition. But you find collections like this, and you know that even if you're spending, a cheap amount of money, that there's going to be a portion of those books. Like I said, I already have a couple of hundred of those books, 200 to 300 of those books that are just going to be donated because there's just nothing there, or the condition isn't that great. But Children's Hospital, things like that, they're very happy to take things like that because kids don't care. They just want to look at a comic book. So that's one way right there. But again, you'll make your money back. Again, I didn't pay a whole lot for that collection like we talked about, and I've pulled out some really good stuff out of there. Real lucky to find a really nice collection because, like I stated there, in the past several times on videos, there are just tons and tons of hunters out there just looking for anything. So the opportunity to buy something, you got to take it when you can get it. So there was that. I will get back to showing more vintage style books next week. I am also working on a video for some hot pick books coming up down the line. That things that I'm looking forward to. And again, when I say these things, it's not me telling you to get these books because they're going to make a ton of money on them. This is just telling you these are books that I like. These are books that interest me. All the books that I've given you on this channel, for the most part, kind of fall in that whole genre I like, whether it be Ice Cream Man, Something's Killing the Children, Kanto, because of the, I just like the little character with the little heart. The last book you'll ever read just kind of falls into that area right there. So there was that. Again, I appreciate all the support I get on this channel. I appreciate all the positive comments. You're always going to have those haters out there. But like my viewers say, don't worry about what people, say that don't like your channel. If they don't like it, they don't have to watch it. But again, it means a lot to me. I try to make the time on Fridays. I'd like to get them done earlier, but the hours that I work, this is pretty much the day that I have energy enough to do an actual video. But again, I will get back to doing more of the showing off the vintage books and things of that nature. So there was that. Again, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you know somebody who might like the channel, let them know about it. Hit the little bell so you get the notifications. And that's pretty much all we have. So as always, if you didn't like the video, I had nothing I can do for you. If you didn't like the video, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Happy hunting, and I'll see you real soon.